Peace and blessings and good evening. Welcome to another edition of King Talk Tuesdays. I'm your host, Andy King, the show with real views, real news, and real talk. We do so many topics of this education, healthcare, spirituality, so much more on King Talk Tuesdays we discuss. And we air every Tuesday at 8 p.m. live on Facebook as well as our YouTube channel. And we're looking forward to you joining us for a more dynamic and great spiritual conversations throughout the week. You know, I've always said over the years that we've been on, I just want to thank everybody who's been tuning in. You know why? Because people pay attention to people who participate. So tell a friend, tell a neighbor. King Talk Tuesdays is now airing. We're also streaming on Roku TV, Prime Television, Apple TV, Verizon, Millennial TV, 24 Class TV, and so many much more. So if you have a thought or question, you can send us a chat in our chat, our Facebook chat, or just send us a question at our email address, which is kingtalktuesdays@gmail.com. Again, our email address is kingtalktuesdays@gmail.com. We're going to be right back on King Talk Tuesdays after a couple of words from a couple of our friends. Andy King for Thorough Dynamics. The vision of Thorough Dynamics was something that was bred over 25 years ago that allows people to get their physical rehabilitation services back to life. What we've done over the last year is do a total revamping, a total reorganizing. How do we service people? Because service is anything you do to improve the lives of others. If you don't have your body strong, if you don't have health, you have nothing else. Visit our website at thoroughDynamics.com or call us at 866-256-0937.
Good Neighbors Community Outreach Agency provides programs that help community residents improve their lives and support their families. Are you in need of food, clothing, employment, or a home? We also provide immigration services and passport renewal.
Hi, I'm Pastor Glad.
And I'm Lady D.
We're here to serve you.
Need help?
Ask us.
You can reach us by calling 718-652-3288 or visit us at gncdcny.org.
Oh, a good thank you to our good neighbors who do so much work in our community to help everyone. As you saw from the commercial, they do so much work to feeding, clothing, and even housing people. So we want to thank Pastor Pitt, Pastor Glad, and Lady D for all they do for the neighbors here in the 12th District of the Bronx, the Boogie Down Bronx, and across the Caribbean as well. Also, if you have any ailing problems, whether it's your back, your knees, your eyes, your brains, hey, Thorough Dynamics brings you right back to life. So we want to thank you again. So just let you know that you are tuned in to King Talk Tuesday, the show with real views, real news, and real talk. Again, our email address, if you have a comment or thought or want to give us a question, is kingtalktuesdays@gmail.com. Again, our email address is kingtalktuesdays@gmail.com. You know, there's a lot of things that are happening in the world today. But you know what I really want to know? Oh, as our great Marvin Gaye used to say, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Let's talk about what's going on. Well, I got to tell y'all, 5 years it's been happening. It's the 5th year we're making it happen. One of our special guests that are joining us today, this Saturday, June 3rd, will be the 5th annual MC Sha-Rock Multicultural Day as we celebrate those who made us dance, jumping them down at the venues. And we want to make sure that Miss Sha-Rock herself will be celebrated in honor for being the mother, being the pioneer of the female MCs in the world of hip hop. So if you are not busy, and if you are busy, please put it on your calendar. Join us this Saturday, June 3rd at 2 p.m. at Magenta Park, known affectionately as Gun Hill Playground. Come on out behind Gun Hill houses. There'll be music, there'll be vendors, there'll be food, there'll be joy, there'll be upside down play and fun. Just come on out and do your thing and do your swing as we continue to have real good fun on MC Sha-Rock Day. And next, we want to let you know that Memorial Day passed. My father, who was a veteran who served in Korea and did a lot of good work for this country and came back and did a lot of good work for his community. I want to thank everyone who has served this community whether you live in New York or any place in the United States. Memorial Day isn't always just about the people who are on the battlefield. It's about the people who served and loved, who patched up the nurses, the people who were the cooks, the people who were the medics, the people who made decisions, but the people who just represented, then came home and continued to represent their neighborhood and taught people how to love, taught people discipline, taught people structure. That is what we're talking about, memorializing not just our service men and women who wore the stripes, who wore the uniform, but came home and had the uniform and the cloak of God inside of them to help continue to move a country, move a people in the way that the Most High want. That's the service that we talk about when we talk about memorializing people who did wonderful work who are no longer with us today. So next, I want to also let you know that, hey, as of May 26th, New York State beaches are open now. So get your splash on, get your groove on. If you do not know how to swim, make sure you do not enter the water without a lifeguard. Make sure you do not enter without supervision, and be very mindful and learn the conditions of the water that you're getting in. There's no need for so much fun to turn into any disaster because we were not responsible by getting in the water and having a good time with our families. So today, this year, is the 50th year anniversary of hip hop. Now, for me, growing up, that was the music that I grew up with. Was I dancing at the clubs all the time? Not all the time, because I was on the basketball court a lot, but there was some who knew how to do it. There was those who started it off, those the one who kept the flow, those the one that kept us going. And few of them are here today to talk about those early days, talk about the beginning. What was the inspiration? How did it all start? And how do we continue today? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so grateful and thankful to have the mother of all women MCs who are joining us today, who we've named the day after. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first time to King Talk Tuesday. My good friend, the mother, the queen. There she is, our MC, Sha Rock is in the house.
Let it roll off. Let it roll off. Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to King Talk Tuesday. Of course, it's your girl, Sha Rock, the first female MC of hip hop culture. And I'm here in the building. I also have brought along a friend of mine, who was a great promoter, in hip hop culture back in its early years. And listen, I'm here and I'm glad that y'all are tuned in with us. And let's talk hip hop.
All right. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Sha. And our next guest that's joining us today, he's an ambassador of it all. He's documented, he wrote it, he danced in it, he played it, he produced it, and he's still sticking with it and telling the story. Ladies and gentlemen, the ambassador of hip hop. Welcome to King Talk Tuesday, Mr. Van Silk's in the house.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Oh, we are grateful to have you both today. It is a very exciting time, not only in the borough of the Bronx, but in the world of hip hop. And we know where it all started in the Boogie Down Bronx.
Yeah, so, I had to go into a quiet room, and I got you on YouTube, and I put my laptop up.
Okay, all right. That's what we're talking about. Right. That's what we're talking about. So, Sha, we got to start with the mom who kicked it all off. Some people have asked the question, and we're talking about some 16-year-olds, some 22-year-olds, some 25-year-olds, and when they start rapping and talking, they're like, well, I know Cardi B, I'm like,
of course.
I'm like, Cardi B. But if there was one woman out here on the planet, if it wasn't her, there would be no Queen Latifah, no MC Light, no Salt and Pepper kicking it like they were flowing it. So I'm saying to you, tell the people, who is MC Sha Rock?
But first of all, before we get started, I want to send a shout out to the Cardi B's, the Lola Brooks, the Scarlett's and Foxy Brown and Nicki Minaj and Queen Latifah, MC Light, Rhapsody, Little Kim, Remy Ma, all of the women, that has been, on the front line, right now, or leading up to help, the female MC culture move forward, regardless of how, their rap style is. They are on the front line ensuring that the women are being heard. But let me tell you who MC Sha Rock is. Of course, I am the first female MC of hip hop culture. I started out as a B-girl breakdancer back in 1976. And when you're talking about, the onset of the culture from 1973, from Kool Herc to DJ Mario, to Bam and Grandmaster Flash and all of the DJs that was out there pushing the culture forward. For me, it was the break beats, as a B-girl in 1976 that allowed me to travel and be that nomadic B-girl, to travel around to different venues where they were playing those break beats that was synonymous, in hip hop culture. And then with after the blackout happened, in 77, I became the first female MC of hip hop culture. And I say that, with strongness to let y'all know that I was on the front line. I was emceeing, before a lot of the male, guys that came through. I, followed in the footsteps of the three MCs, Melly Mel, who else? His brother Kid Creole, and also Cowboy, KK Rockwell, who came before me, and guys like that, who I, felt as though they were bona fide, MCs, and that changed the game of the way that, the MC rhyming style was. So in 1977, at the end of 1977, I became the first female MC of hip hop culture. And what happened was, in the Bronx, going into 1978 was the critical year of the MC period. So people would say, okay, well, if Kool Herc started in 1973, then why did it take so long for a female MC to come about at the end of 1977 and 78? Because we're talking about the changing of the guards. Of course, you had the Coke Rocks, but there was no, or you may have had, someone that would just got on the mic, or just started rhyming. But I, as a female MC, helped change the game of the aesthetics of the MC culture, the rhyming styles, the back and forth, the MC and the routines, and all of the way that the MCs that you may see nowadays rhyme. I was a part of the era, and the first female MC to help create that style of rhyming, to introduce that to a lot of groups, a lot of female MCs, and a lot of men MCs that picked up, where the original Funky Four was, or the three MCs were at that time, which consisted of a Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel and Kid Creole, and also Keith Cowboy. So that year I became the first female MC of hip hop culture. And along with that, I was like the first female MC, to have an hype group, that would say my rhymes and go out to the crowd and get the crowds to say my rhymes. I was the first female MC to basically have a security crew. So wherever I went, that was my security crew, all female security crew that would go around with me to protect me while I was in the clubs. Being the first female MC of hip hop culture and of the MC culture, I was the first, to have a record deal. And I'm talking about authentic female MC from the streets of New York, from the park jams, from, the hip hop venues that was synonymous, that set it off for all the venues that, came, up, in the 70s. I was the first female MC to be a part of an all male group, the first female MC to use the echo chamber with the reverb on it, that not only did I was also inspiration to women, but also men as well. And you'll hear DMC or Run DMC or Common, or Puff Daddy, say those things, about MC Sha-Rock. And MC Sha-Rock has a lot of firsts, but I want to, just to let you know, why I am the first female MC of hip hop culture and how all of this played out, in the 1970s.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm looking at my emails. They're coming in. Questions are coming in, but we got to bring Van Silk. We got to bring Van Silk into the conversation here. So, Brother Van, now you're dancing with the first here, so, we got to pay homage. Got to pay homage to the queen,
Well, he knows the deal. He's been with me I've been 16 years old, he knows.
Yeah. So now she was 16. Now tell us a little bit about your story, Van. I know you are the ambassador right now. I know you promoted and you did your thing. Talk to our audience about who is Van Silk.
Well, can I say this first before I get to that? I'd like to congratulate you for making this the 5th year, Sha-Rock's Day, because she's well deserved of it.
Thank you.
She is the first female MC in the culture of hip hop and rapper, however you want to call it. And I always said there is a Mount Rushmore for the first generation of MCs. If you talk about putting Melly Mel up there, or Kumo D, or even the Grandmaster Cad, I'm talking about first generation. You got to put Sha-Rock up there.
All right.
She belongs up there.
Okay. I like that. So talk to us, Van. Now you were part of the game early on as a pioneer as well. Talk a little bit about what you have done and who you also the viewers can know who Van Silk is. The name sounds silky smooth, but we don't know who the man is.
Well, listen. I can't. I'm a little older, and I was like one of the last promoters to come in the game, because you had the pioneering promoters like Ray Chandler, Arthur Armstrong, Jazzy D, Brothers Disco, Nubian Production, Mike and Dave, Cool DJ AJ, the promoters in Harlem, Rolls Royce Movement, Willie Gums and them. So I was like one of the last ones, because I was a flyer guy for AJ for 2.5 years. Okay. But I probably became one of the most popular ones of doing more past just giving the parties and working at record labels and doing TV shows and supporting a lot of the pioneer artists and record deals and albums and songs. So I just been like an all-around supportive person for a lot of the first generation artists, and especially when it comes to the women in hip hop, because a lot of people don't understand that Sha Rock was missing for like a good 12, 15 years because she was in Germany. So the narrative was being changed about who was what in the beginning. So when you start looking at the earliest females and the culture of MCing with the DJ and scratching, because rapping has been around forever. Talk about MCing now.
Right.
You got Sha Rock, you have Lisa Lee. Definitely the first group is the Mercedes Ladies. You have Baby D is one of the first DJs and DJ Flame, and then you got DJ Lady Love that Sha Rock and Kaz is going to be out with in Seattle in a couple of weeks or next month or.
Not Kaz. It's switched up, but Jerobi from Tribe Called Quest is.
Oh, okay. Well, I just know. Yeah. And Sha Rock, I'm gonna say this because I've done a lot. We'll be here forever, but this is about her and her day, and what it represents for her and for a lot of people, because you opened the door, and I think it's his name Jamal Bowman.
Oh yeah,
help open the door, but it also opened the eyes of a lot of people on higher levels, where she was just given the key to the Bronx.
And that was that was all Andy King. Andy King. Right.
It's the key to the Bronx, and then you got ABC News that want to talk to her, and CBS, because the story, people never going to give you just the correct story. They only going to tell their story. Right. And you have certain females that came after Sha Rock. No, Sha Rock was before me. She's done this before all of us. And just because you might not have had the biggest records, you still are the mold. And as being a humble person that she is, for people that never met her, or how DMC said, I would never use the echo chamber because of Sha Rock, or Common say this, or Melly Mel and Scorpio will say this and that. She's been solidified by the guys, and she's been doing this before some of the guys who have bigger names in this industry.
Right.
Early on.
Right. So true.
And
so
you know what, Kat?
I
want to co-sign because I got to do this. I want to send a shout out to Grandmaster Flash, who has always been in my corner. And even now, he's like, listen, I'm tired of this narrative that's not being told correctly. We all came up in the same game. So I want to send a shout out to Grandmaster Flash, and always having my back to say, listen, in the beginning, Sha Rock was the only female MC that was out there with us, battling up with us out there. And so wherever you at, Grandmaster Flash, thank you so much for having my back, because it's so crazy, sir. It's like, I've been saying this, forever. Once I got back from Germany and I found out that the stories were being told incorrectly, so I went in and tried to, break down the story and let people know what is the truth, coming with, archives and everything to back it up. But it's so funny though, because it's like, I've been saying it forever with proof, but once a man say it, then they be like, okay, wow, this is crazy. Oh, yo, you serious? Oh, so now y'all wait till Grandmaster Flash say it, and it's the truth. They said, okay, yeah, this is what it is. But you know what? Shout out to him. Shout out to Kool Herc for giving, that first party that I didn't attend, but just playing those break beats, that allow me to, just thrive, as the woman and the young teenager I was at the time, into becoming the woman who I am today.
So you just touched on something, being a teenager. So
Mhm.
how old were y'all starting this? And I hear the stories that hip hop generated in a way for young Black teens to find their place, escape a place, and build a place. Talk a little
Mhm.
about when you started as an age. What was your motivation?
I mean, it depends on what age. I mean, this is how you can kind of tell, the people that was around during that time by their ages, whether or not they're in their 50s or, 60s. When you're talking about the going into the 70s, I could always say I'm talking about the early stages of hip hop. So for a lot of us, it could have been 13, it could have been 14, it could have been 15, depending on what you were doing, whether or not you were B girl, B boy, some DJs started early, just practicing, or maybe in their teens. So it depends on when that person in particularly started, in this culture and this genre of all the aesthetics. It could have been any age, but a lot of us started when we were in our teens. And for me, as a young woman, and a young teenager growing up in New York City, it was like, that was like my lifesaver. When I got out of junior high school or was going to school, I eat, sleep, and drunk some of the aesthetics of hip hop that I love, like just listening to MCs, listening to the break beats, listening to the music, and just going around listening to those break beats. So yeah, it was a lifesaver for me. And when we're talking about hip hop culture, it may sound corny to a lot of people, but I'm in my 60s, and the culture, hip hop in general, made me who the woman I am today, because I respect all the elements of it that I wanted to live by. Just knowing that, listen, I'm proud to be a representative of the culture that I know.
Now you just mentioned something about the elements. Fan Silk, let's talk about what are the elements of hip hop, because I don't think people truly understand what it is, especially today. Because if you truly understand it, you wouldn't disrespect the elements of hip hop. Talk to us about what are those elements.
Well, I mean, initially it was 4 elements. Then it became a 5th element became added from the B-boy, the B-girl.
6 or 7,
right.
and all of them are cool. Yeah.
What me and Sha Rock talk about, I'm gonna say, the B-boy, the B-girl, which is the dancing, the aerosol art, which Phase 2 correct me, the graffiti, the DJ, the MC, and then it came knowledge, and understanding, and wisdom, which was implemented
fashion, style.
Right. Yeah. So, but me and Shara always have great discussions, and I always say the first 10 years, 73 to 83, is the most important years, because without those years, there is no hip hop. Because you got to remember, in 78, I was going on 21. Kool Herc was going on 24. Shaw might have been 17.
Yeah.
So there's an age difference. She might have been 16 in 78.
Right.
So it's an age difference. And like when people talking about, the 50th anniversary. Okay, so that means you got to be over 50.
That's right. That's right.
To even say you was around in 78.
Right. So true.
But when you born in 69, what was you doing in 79?
But you know what? We're talking about the 50th anniversary of hip hop culture, right? And this culture belongs to all of us. It's not just one person, that can claim it. But my thing has always been, okay, we've all during life from the early 70s to now has gone through a journey, right? But we must respect the contributions of each and every person that has contributed to the culture, whether it could be in any fashion or form, but we must respect the journey of each and every person that has contributed to it, right? And so my thing is that if you're saying that you're celebrating the 50th anniversary of hip hop culture, then listen, let's all celebrate it, but make sure you're celebrating the elements of all the elements of what sums up what this hip hop culture is.
Right.
Celebrate the elements. You don't have to be on there break dancing. You don't have to be a DJ, but you have to respect the elements of the culture in which you're trying to say that you're celebrating the 50th anniversary of hip hop culture.
Well, there are a lot of celebrations. There's going to be a lot of celebrations going on for the 50th, and I'm praying some will grab some elements, some will grab some other elements and put it on display. And we're just asking. I reckon everyone's asking. Everyone would be true to the game. You know, if you're going to talk about it, if you're going to dance about it, be true to the game.
Right.
Now, Silk, I knew you got a thought. Drop it on us. Drop it on us.
No, because me and Shaw had this discussion because I'm always going to be on the outside. My birthday's in November.
Okay.
That's when I turned 65. Hip hop birthday is August 11th. So for me, the 50th anniversary is August 11th, 2023 to August 11th to 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Because when January 2024 turns, it's still going to be 50.
Right.
Right.
True that.
But I understand BT and I understand the corporates doing their events. I understand that. But like I said, there's a lot of things going on, you know, and like I'm proud and I'm happy that everybody's going to do because
we can see this, that people are celebrating.
It's the only 50 we're going to see. Our grandkids will see the other. We ain't seeing no more 50s. I mean, maybe not, but this is our 50. We don't get no more 50s. We might get 75.
Yeah.
But you understand what I'm saying? The importance of the first 10 years, 73 to 83, because take her out. You can't discuss hip hop if you don't get those in the first 10 years. Those who can tell you the story. Because once they're gone, you can't tell the story.
Right. And you make a valid point, because if my birthday is March 12th, how do I celebrate it on January 13th?
Hey, thank you.
Hey, I gotta wait till March 12th. This is my birthday, or it's my wedding anniversary. Then I can have my whole 50th wedding anniversary all the way to that next whatever that August 11th, so to speak. And then we can say so. You're absolutely right. The big money people, the systems have. I won't say hijacked it, but they set their own calendar how they celebrate. But I'm grateful to those who are true to the game. Recognize that your birthday is August 11th.
But you know what? Me and Shaw talk, and me and Shaw talk, and I see what everybody's doing. They're jumping on it, you know. But I can tell you, next year will have a more impact because you know a lot of anniversaries are coming up, but next year will have even more impact because it's still going to be the 50th anniversary until next August.
That's right. So true.
You know,
I guess we talked about that, and so you got to look at it like that, you know.
Okay, well,
but you know, respect to all that is celebrating.
Yeah, no.
But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be honest with you, and listen, everybody know how I am about the hip hop culture. My stomach turned when you are only doing it just for clout. I get butterflies in my stomach, man, and my stomach turns. And you know, because as long as you celebrating the elements and you like really celebrating the culture and not just one element. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when you don't do that, man, I'd be like, yo, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it's for all of us. It's for all of us.
But you know, we're not here. We here because me and Shaw talk. We haven't talked in the last week or so a whole lot because she's been moving around.
Right.
But the Bronx is the home. But there's a lot of groups that might have had one hit or two hit that ain't super popular, but they made a contribution, like Shyrock said. And we got to give props. You know, Shyrock was not doing the show because of certain business standings in Atlantic City. But a lot of those groups that's doing the show in Atlantic City, when is it, Shaw? In June next month?
Well, June is what, a couple of days? Yeah.
Charlie Mack show. There's a lot of groups on there.
Shout out to Charlie Mack. You know, he did a good thing about bringing those groups together.
They're bringing a lot of those groups together because a lot of it's not going to get put on the Yankee Stadium date coming up. A lot of it's not going to get put on any of the shows in the city because the people want those who could sell tickets, or if the sponsor going to put money up. That's why I like Shyrock Day. You ain't got that. If you're going to come out, that's real hip hop. When I came,
what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. It's like that homegrown. Not to take anything from anybody, but we celebrating. You know, the sound systems. You know, the DJs, the venues. You know, all of these things that set it off. That got it started, and we're just out there listening to music. For me, to be honest with you, I don't think that everything is always about money. You know what I'm saying? So anytime that we could do something free and maybe get a couple of sponsors to come in and look out and give back to the community as we know we started off, you know, and may had to pay like $2 or $3 or $4 to get into a venue to build our sound systems up or buy microphones, then that's what I'm all about. Yes, you know, now we're talking, you know, about hip hop all of these years, and anything I do, I'm gonna get paid for. You're not gonna have me coming out and be like, just come out on the strength, you know, because it's a 50th anniversary of hip hop. Well, if you making money, then I need to make money too.
Exactly.
But money is not always the key issue. So I love it when Andy King and myself and everybody that joins in come out and give this free event, MC Sha-Rock Day, and take it back to the streets of the culture. That's what it's about for me, to see those people there just dancing, having fun, no craziness going on, you know, just taking it back to how it was when I was growing up. And so when the young kids come out and they see it, no, this is what hip hop is.
Exactly.
This is what hip hop is.
Well, we got to go to half. We're going to come back and we're going to continue to talk about the elements like earth, because what I'm hearing, we got to have earth, wind, and fire. We just can't have the earth without the wind and the fire. So we're going to come back. We're going to come back. And after halftime of our show,
you're a poet now.
Conversations with MC Sha-Rock and Van. So you're tuning in to King Talk Tuesday, the show with real views, real news, and real talk. We'll be right back after a message from a couple of our friends.
Revolution of hip hop. Bronx Terminal Market. 610 Exterior Street. Bronx, New York. Tuesday through Sunday. Pull up.
The Golden Era, 1986 through 1990.
Hi, Frank Perez here from Eastchester Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. It's our Durangos must-go inventory sell-off. Over 145 Dodge Durangos, all trims, all options, all colors, all must-go. The all-wheel drive Durango has it all. Style, comfort, cutting-edge technology, and loaded with safety features. Get up to $2,750 bonus cash and even make no payments for 90 days. It's our Durangos must-go inventory sell-off. Eastchester Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Pay the least in the East.
Oh, yeah, pay the least in the East. If you need a Jeep, Chrysler Jeep is your answer. Again, you know, we are celebrating this year on August 11th is the anniversary birth of hip hop. And so you saw the Hip Hop Museum, which will be in full effect in a year. I'm looking forward to all who helped put that together, all who have contributed. But we are at halftime here at King Talk Tuesday, the show with real views, real news, and real talk. We cover so many topics, whether it's education, economics, spirituality, and so much more. We air live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on Facebook and our YouTube channel. We're asking you all, please subscribe to King Talk Tuesdays so you can watch previous episodes of King Talk Tuesdays. And you can also check your local listings because we air every Thursday night on Fios Channel 2136 and Optimal Channel 70 at 10:30 p.m. Check your local listings to check out more King Talk Tuesdays throughout the week. But as you know, I'm a former basketball player, and at halftime, I always got to get my stretch on, make sure my flow tree jump shot's going on, and make sure I still keep it tight and right. But we also want to let the world know, and we want to send up some spiritual comfort to everyone who's maybe going through something. We know the last couple of years have been stressful for the world. Whether you are unemployed, employed, have children, don't have children. And I got to give a shout out to our children because this generation of young people have gone through something that we as adults today have not had I won't say an opportunity to experience, but we were blessed not to experience when we started talking about the pandemic that they had to endure and go through. So I want to give a shout out to all our youth who are growing through it, like I say, they're growing through it because there's been a lost 2 years of development. So I ask all of our adults, especially our teachers who are in the school system, praise for you as well. But we all have to recognize that our young people have missed some years of social and physical and psychological development. And some of them just need a little bit more care, a little bit more guidance, and more important, a little more patience. And to our young people, as I always say, you're going to be held accountable for the things that you say and do. But I ask you all, look for a higher power. For me, it's the Most High in Christ. And when I'm ever lost, confused, I just offer up a prayer for myself. And I ask us all to give a prayer, not only for ourselves, but to our community, to our neighbors, to our friends, to our enemies, our frenemies. Just offer up a prayer to find that centerpiece in your life. Because you know what? We all have our trials and tribulations, and we will trip and fall. And, you know, concrete hurts. So I say to us all, please find a spiritual force that can guide you and help you navigate through those rough roads and shine a light on you when you need to see the path of what you have to go through. So with that being said, to the Most High in Christ, continue to watch over us. Give us the strength. Give us the energy. I'm praying for wisdom. I'm praying for love. I'm praying for protection. I'm praying for prosperity. And I'm just praying for us to be wiser and growing better together. To his sons, his Hebrew sons and his Hebrew daughters, we one love. We got to get it right. We got to get it better because we are greater and we are better together. So welcome back again as we jump into the second half of King Talk Tuesday. I have two dynamic guests as we're celebrating hip hop. You know, we know that this Saturday, as a council member, I was blessed enough to be able to, after meeting this wonderful sister at Jamal Bowman, who's the congressman now at his school, at the Casa Middle School, and they were filming, and we celebrated her as we were filming for a movie they were putting together to tell our life story. And at that day, I announced that we are going to celebrate Sha-Rock Day, the first Saturday, the 1st of June. And we're going into the 5th year, the second year, the pandemic hit. I ended up driving all the way to Texas to make sure that we stayed into that promise of what Sha-Rock meant to so many of in the hip hop industry. Again, I say I wasn't one of those guys that was always in the street beatboxing. You know, I was a basketball player, but my Charlie Rocks and all that was like, yo, King, you do your thing over there. We're going to do our thing, but we're going to represent the neighborhood where we got to go. And that's what it's all about when we were teenagers. And we all grew up and became productive and successful people, irregardless of what they wanted to set the stage of who we are. But we are blessed tonight to have MC Sha-Rock, the first female MC on the planet to deliver in the hip hop culture, and Van Silk, who's the ambassador. So when we get into the next part, I got to go back to you, Sha. I got to ask you this question that came in, and then I'm gonna move to conversation. Now, someone they said, wait a minute, isn't this the luminary MC, something like that? It said, well, I said, yes. It said
luminary icon, the light, not Illuminati, but
no, not Illuminati.
Luminary icon,
So
the
they want
light.
to know, the question is, how did you become the luminary icon?
Well, you know what? This is what happened, right? Back in, I think, 2004, there was a guy by the name of Ray Riccio and his brother that were starting a clothing line that was called Cedric and Cedar for Cedric Avenue, Cedar Park, where DJ Kool Herc gave his first jam, and I should say his sister Cindy gave the first back to school jam for her brother DJ Kool Herc. And so 1520 Cedric Avenue and then Cedar Park. So DJ Kool Herc, Grandmaster Caz, Grandmaster Melly Mel, myself, Theodore, and Bam, and I think it was one more person. You know, we were a part of this clothing line that was called Cedric and Cedar. And so Ray Riccio was the one who started calling me. He said, you know what, Sha-Rock, listen, you got to be down with this company because you are the luminary, you are the light, you know, of the female MCs, you know, and MCs. So he's the one who coined me as the luminary icon. And so that's where that name came from, you know, and I've been using it ever since because it's the truth.
Oh, that's a blessing. Now we know. So to my viewer, you have your answer to your question, how she was named the luminary icon. So I got to ask both of you quickly, you know, hip hop has kind of changed directions. So tell us a little bit, how do you feel about the current state of the music and hip hop today? Van, give us your thoughts.
Oh, I'm ready for this one.
Listen,
I'm ready.
At my age, I don't understand it, but I try to understand them because I have grandkids who listen to certain things. I have a 23-year-old, 21-year-old, 13, 14. They listen to certain things. It's rap music. It's their music for their ears because everything's changed. You know, I mean, it's what the music industry is putting out there. You know, we can't beat it up. We can't fight it. Because when what we was doing early on, my uncle told me to get that garbage out of here.
Talk it. Yeah, talk it. We And so, Van, so people expect us to like down everything that's going on now. But the thing is that when you talk about hip hop culture, and the first thing, and I'm glad you touch a basis on it, Andy, is that the first thing they'll say, well, what is the state of hip hop now? So let me tell you, people got to start asking, what is the state of rap music?
Yeah.
Because hip hop is thriving. The elements are thriving. All the elements, the DJs, the MCs, the B girls, the B boys, they are thriving. Now, whether or not, the world, some people or media choose to acknowledge those elements, those are the elements of hip hop culture. They're thriving so much that, DJs and up their equipment, MCs is MCing, B girls and B boys have now gone to the Olympics for 2024. So the culture of hip hop, the true essence of the culture of hip hop is thriving. If you want to talk about rap music within hip hop culture, well, it's thriving too. The thing is that, we can, our parents and a lot of other people say, well, I wouldn't let my child listen to that. Or I wouldn't listen to it. Well, there was a lot of people that was doing and saying stuff, when I was coming up in their age, that they was rhyming about stuff, and twerking didn't just come around. They was twerking back in the days and all of that stuff. So my thing is that there's a lot of stuff that's going on, and I don't like everything, but I like a lot of the stuff that's out now, because I respect the artistry of, that artist. Now, if you don't like it and you think it's too crazy or something like that at the time, well, it's your right to go and listen to everything else. But I like to know what's going on. I like to listen to the different music. I like to form my own opinions, and I like to respect the artistry of any female or male that's out there. Because if we always doing the same thing, then this rap culture would not be what it is today. We don't all need to sound like everybody else. We need to bring something different to the table. That's what I feel.
And let me bring this to your attention, Andy, because we made history about 5 weeks ago in Virginia with Sha-Rock, Scorpio, and Melly Mel.
Yeah.
I ran across this lady on the internet from the rap house named Katie Sparks. She had a dance troupe, and they was doing a celebration for Hip Hop 50. And I hit her up on Instagram, like, how you going to do a celebration for Hip Hop 50 without having any of the pioneers there?
Right.
And after talking to her, and these are kids that are dance troupe.
Yeah.
After talking to her, I said, I can get you Melly Mel and Scorpio.
But no, hold on. Let's stop, because that's not all you said. What you said was, you're being a culture vulture.
Yeah.
And she broke it down and said, I'm not that, Van. I'm not doing that. So he checked it, but he really didn't have to check it, because she was hip hop all the way. She was really hip hop all the way. And even though she may not have known our stories, she respected all elements of the culture when we got to know her. Shout out to the house. She
Katie.
rocked
But
it.
what I was trying to say is, it wasn't about her trying to make a lot of money.
Right.
Because they're nonprofit, but she still took care of Sha-Rock with what she wanted.
Did.
She took care of Melly Mel and Scorpio, put them in nice rooms.
Treated them good.
And,
but it's just the kids. It's what she's
learn
doing
it.
for the youth.
Yes.
The youth down there, in Virginia, was what she was doing that drew me to it. Because a lot of times we conceive what a person may or may not be. But this young lady down there, she was not a culture vulture. All we have to do a lot of times when we try to educate, and it's like, like now we're talking about the aesthetics and hip hop culture, whatever. My thing is that I'm an educator. I teach at Bowie State University. I'm a professor at Bowie State University. I teach, I co-teach a hip hop course, in a visual arts course. I travel around the world with Dr. Khalid with the 101 Black Mobile Museum. And so I educate the students, because I don't want to blame the students for not knowing. If there's nobody out there to educate them, that is my responsibility as an elder, and a lot of other people's responsibility as an elder, to educate and let them form their own opinion as how they're going to move within hip hop culture. So I'm educating. I don't know what nobody else is doing over there, but I'm educating. I'm educating a culture that I help build a $1 billion business. That's what I do.
Well, we're going to stop right there because you just hit the nail on the head about educating our youth, bringing them up to speed because life started before 2005 when they were born. And, and we got to keep educated and keeping them growing and keeping their minds straight. So, with that being said, we're going to be right back after a message from programs doing the same thing, the Bronx Youth Empowerment Program.
The Bronx Youth Empowerment Program, YEP, is a youth organization that has served the Northeast Bronx for 17 years. During our tenure, we have provided recreational and educational forums that have nurtured the growth of many youth in the community. YEP has also serviced hundreds of youngsters around New York City. YEP's target audience is youth from the age of 11 to 18 with the goal of helping youth become productive adults. YEP provides young people with resources to explore leadership skills, community involvement, and self-development. YEP consists of weekly and bi-weekly informational sessions with guest speakers from professional, political, and entertainment arenas. Also, as a part of community involvement, YEP will host trips to a variety of venues for educational and recreational experiences. As we continue to partner with other local organizations and serve our community, we will strive to unite and develop the youth in our community. The mission of the Bronx Youth Empowerment Program is building mind, body, and community.
Oh yeah, building mind, body, and community. That's the job of any adult to help the next generation get it right. Shout out to my loving wife, Neva Shillingfoot King, who's the co-founder with me to help put this together. We never thought when we started this back in 2005, in 2023, we still be doing it. But God put the spirit on us to help the next generation. So here we stand. But we got our last 15 minutes of the show. And before I talk about anything, we got to talk about last Saturday, MC Shyrock was given the key to the borough of the Boogie Down Bronx for being the first female MC. So before we say anything, there was a moment in time for you. Can we go to the videotape? Can we just go?
Oh, man, you got video? Oh, let's get it.
1979 year. And I want to send a shout out. Yes, I want to send a shout out to all the politicians, everybody out here, the women that's on the front line, ensuring that the Bronx stay top notch, and we will continue to be the top notch borough. Shout out to the Bronx, New York. This is MC Shyrock. Vanessa Gibson, thank you. Thank you so much. And shout out to Veronica, the Bronx Council. Oh man, this is my key. I don't even know what else to say. Thank you. My brother's a Cold Crush brother.
Oh,
yo.
Talk about that moment for you. How did you feel? What was going through? What was your blood?
Let me tell you this. I have to give you props. And shout out to Vanessa Gibson, the Bronx Tourism Council, Vanessa. I mean, everybody. Well, first of all, shout out to SWV, Sunny Houston, who got the Walk of Fame, and Sunny Houston is on the View. Shout out to them, and to be in the room with them, at the same time, and that night, coming up to receive the key to the Bronx and being the first woman and the first MC, female MC. Listen, I was lost for words, right? Simply because, man, I've received so many accolades and awards throughout my life, but for the Bronx to say, listen, I recognize you. And Andy King, thank you so much, because you was there with me 100% ensuring that the Bronx knew who I were. I'm talking about, I'm like old school, they know, but just the Bronx in general and what I have brought, to the table when we're talking about the culture of hip hop. I mean, I appreciate the awards. Y'all can keep it coming, but to receive that key to the Bronx, come on now. I'm proud. I'm so proud. Thank you, Lord, Jesus, God. Because let me tell you this. One of the things that, I used to say, like back in the days, I was like, man, as much as I did, I'm not understanding why the people are not respecting my contributions as a woman and as an MC. And every documentary you see, I'm sitting on there crying in tears and all that stuff. I couldn't help it. You know what I'm saying? But if I cried that night, it's for tears of joy, of excitement. And so when y'all see those documentaries, know that I hadn't received the key to the Bronx yet, because they coming. But to have it now, I truly appreciate you, Andy King, for allowing, my presence to be amongst the politicians. There were so many in the house, and Vanessa Gibson, and I mean, everybody, received, my story well. And I appreciate you.
Well, God bless you. I'm glad that I have an opportunity to know you in my lifetime, and the Lord allowed me to be in some position to deliver something that's more valuable than some of the trophies that we have hanging on our doors. But being able to have a key to and being the second person ever. Wait,
hold on. Say that again.
I'm just. You are the second person ever to get the key. The first person, Vanessa, it was Congressman Jose Serrano. Other than that, nobody else ever got it. So I'm saying
Nicole Chris got it that night too. Yeah, but man, just to live that. I mean, it to me, for me, it solidifies everything, And I gotta say, I just received an award from Senator Sapapita from the 32nd Sapapita. Did I say it right? Respect to you, sir. I just received recognition, as the first female MC of hip hop culture from the senator, so I have that recognition as well. Thank you, New York City, for acknowledging MC Sha-Rock for the 50th anniversary of hip hop culture. And I want to send a shout out to all the females, the Queen Lisa Lees, the Mercedes ladies, and Missy D, and all of the ones that was actually on the front line with me, helping to move this culture forward, and all of the women, that they came after that contributed as well.
Well,
We did it.
And I want to bring Van. I want to bring you in, but I want to give a shout out to all the ladies and everybody who's part of the culture. If wherever you are Saturday, find your way to Gun Hill Park. Find your way to come on, hang out with us. We praying to the Lord. He's gonna give us 75 degrees of sunshine. So come on out.
And even if it drizzles a little bit, we're gonna be out there. We're gonna be celebrating, because we're talking about the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and I know. Listen, there's so many people that reach out to me and say, "Listen, Sha-Rock, you haven't said nothing about it." I was like, "Yo, y'all know it's coming. Come Saturday, let's have fun." That's what it's about. Peace, unity, and fun.
So as we getting ready to wrap up a little bit, I want to ask both of you, as we, the two questions that came in, we want to ask you this question: how can we recognize new and upcoming artists while still honoring the OGs of hip hop? And the second last question will be, how can hip hop and the music in general be used to bring communities together? Van Sil, tackle that for us.
Whoa. How can we honor the new artists
and keep respecting the OGs at the same time?
You would actually have to find an artist that was raised with somebody in her family that gave her that musical food. When you look at somebody like Ice Spice, whose father grew up in the Bronx and was a part of the culture, he might not have had a big name, but he infused her with something for her to understand. And she knew who Theodore was. I think they did the Nike commercial with Fat Joe and all of them, the Nike sneaker. And you have to grow up. It's a generational thing in hip hop, because a lot of these young kids today really don't care about the OGs. That's like talking to your child to explain to them, I used to do this. And they like, oh, okay, here's a great example. Make it short. That's like a lot of Allen Iverson went to Stephen A. Smith to say, can you talk to Ja Morant? And Stephen A. Smith said, yo, you could talk to him. He said, but I don't have the platform you do. It's not going to hear him. They'll talk to you for that minute, but they won't hear you. They're going to still do what they want to do because they consider you old.
But you know what I think? Yeah, you know what I think? I think as elders, and OGs, however you want to put it, I think it's our approach, to the younger generation. You can't come to them like, I did this, y'all should be doing this. Nah, it's the approach, man. Just educate. But there's a time and a place for everything. You can't start educating them when they on stage, or this and that and this. You can say, listen, this is who I'm, man. Respect to you, and keep it moving. Just open up a dialogue. It's the way that we approach the younger generation. And I think that for me, once the younger generation find out who I am, and I've always received love, you know what I'm saying? Because my thing is that we should never, feel like, okay, this is what we did then, and this is what y'all should be doing. Every generation that come about is going to change the game of rap music or the way that they do it. And we have to respect that. But at the same time, we teach the elements. We allow them to understand, how do we get from point A to point B? Without really, coming to them, in a crazy, tight way, where we're not respectful of their craft, So I think it's all about dialogue, and it's all about, like the ones that's up there, or have the platforms to be able to talk about, the history. A lot of times, they're not going to do that because they're trying to, and I won't say every person, but they're trying to solidify their history as well. And you can't blame them from doing that. Their contributions, they don't have time to tag you along with what you're doing, but there's a lot out there that will reach back and show respect, like, the LL Cool J's, the Run DMCs, the Fat Joes, or people like that, that would reach back and at some point talk about the generation that they came up in, or the
quick.
Them.
Real quick.
And by Sha-Rock being on Rock the Bells, her and Kaz, with that show, a lot of people that she's interviewed that might have heard of her but never met her.
Word.
The first time I introduced her to Lily from SWV, Lily's like, oh, I used to, or when Fat Joe met her with Cool Herc, when the first time Fat Joe met Sha-Rock. So, I mean, it also is what kind of impact you made in hip hop in the beginning as well.
Right.
Like, who would not want to meet Sha-Rock, the first female in hip hop that people's talking about?
Right.
I'm not.
You want to meet her.
Right. Well, we're running out of time here, and I do have a question that comment, but I do want to say you both answered the question really well, because it's almost as when the music genre comes about, how do you not know what was played before you, whether it was jazz? How do you not know? How are you going to be a hip hop industry? It's almost like, if I can say, how does New Edition survive if they didn't respect the Jackson 5? So how do you, have somebody who says, hey, I want to be a rapper there, and they have no respect for LL Cool J or Rakim, or Cool. Then you got to have the respect for those folks back then to understand where you are today. Otherwise, you follow a glass ball that has you rolling yourself off a cliff, which so many songs I've heard watching young people roll themselves off the cliff, drill music included. But the question came in for you, Sha. They want to know, can you share, and we have roughly about a minute left, can you share your favorite memory from one of the clubs you performed as a B-girl or an MC? Favorite club?
My favorite club is always going to be the T Connection, simply because that is the catalyst of the Madison Square Garden for hip hop. That's located right by where we're going to have MC Sha-Rock Day. So that's like the premier club that everybody tried to get into, because it has that stage, and it was somewhat like Madison Square Garden before MCs and groups were able to get in Madison Square Garden. So shout out to T Connection, Gun Hill Road, White Plains Road, my favorite hip hop venue.
Well, with that being said, I want to thank both of you. Well, before we disappear, we just want to show a little bit of the ball that Sha was at, and she was the queen of the night, because people didn't know she was there, and they didn't know she was there, and they didn't know she was there to get the key. So if we could just show a little bit of that night of how it was.
Look who's there. You had the Attorney General, right? Attorney General Letitia James there. Wow. Look at that. Bronxborough President Vanessa Gibson. Your wife was there. Rock the Bells was there filming as well. Look at that. Wow. There goes Sunny House off the along with myself and fun place to be. Look at that. Look at that.
We got drums on our minds, we got rockin' in the heart. And now the things we do, you can call it art. We're back, we're sick, we're doing it. Hip, we're gonna rock this record.
And don't you forget,
That's the joint. Because Little Robbie C is the melody. Keep help me rock, we're singing harmony. Because
all the women that's serving the Bronx right now.
in the whole darn place.
Wow.
Here's a little
My
story,
daughter,
you got to be told.
right by my
People
side,
in the
your
place
wife.
got a whole lot of soul.
So when we
Whole
on
Crush
the
Brothers is
mic,
in
y'all
the
shaking
building.
the house.
And when we all get
Look at my
together, we
key,
can turn
y'all.
it out.
Look
We're
at my
in the
key.
house, as you can plainly see. Everybody.
Let's give it up for Shasha Rock.
Ben Silk, I want to thank you for always being there. You always, my cheerleader from day one. I love you, brother. I love you, brother, for always telling the
thank
true
you.
history of MC Shyrock. I appreciate you so much.
Well, God bless you. I love you more. For Brother Van Silk, thank you for having both of you. I will see you tomorrow as we go Thursday as we go down to Magic Johnson. Then for Saturday,
Yeah.
Hey, as we go. So
Yes.
please, everyone, make your way there. We're really pretty much out of time, but we can't end King Talk because we always end King Talk with a scripture. And tonight's scripture reads from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4-8. Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself. It is not puffed up. Do not behave itself unseemly. Seek it not her own. Is not easily provoked. Think of no evil. Rejoice not in iniquity, but rejoice in the truth. Beareth all things, believeth all things. Hope all things, endureth all things. Charity never faileth, but whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. If no one told you today, God loves you, and so do I. Your friend, your brother, and your neighbor, Andy King. Peace.